Hi, this is Dominique Piché. I'm the owner of the French Arborist, and today we're looking at this acacia, this willow acacia, which is a casualty of one of our famous sandstorms that we had last night. This is a very typical situation where you have a quote-unquote desert tree that is uprooted in a storm. There is one reason, and only one reason, why this uprooting happens, and that's because of root failures. The root system has failed for one or many different reasons. So what we have to ask ourselves at this point is, why did the roots fail? I'll talk about 3 different levels of root care at which where you can make a big difference as far as whether you can avoid a situation like this or not. First, you need to take care of the roots at the nursery level. They start growing the tree in a 1-gallon container. Then as the tree grows, it goes into a 5-gallon, a 15-gallon container, then a 24-inch box, etc., etc. As the tree grows and as they move the plant from one container to the other, the person who does the transplant needs to look at 2 major potential problems. One is with root girdling, which is a tendency of the roots to grow in a circular pattern in a container if it's kept in that container for too long. So in this case here, well, you have the tree uprooted, and you have this main root on this side, which you can tell started to curve back in. Instead of continuing to grow this way or out, it started to go this way, probably because it was stuck in this container that was too small, and it started to go around at a previous stage. So it goes around, which provides absolutely no anchor for this side, which is the main reason why I believe this tree has failed, is because of that, these roots going into a circular pattern. In addition to that, at the nursery level, they could have fixed another problem that we see here, where the roots are crossing each other. And when that happens, as the roots grow bigger, they start putting a lot of pressure on each other, and one of them will fail at some point because they run out of room. So the circular pattern, the crossing of the roots, is something that could have been fixed at the nursery level. If it's not, then you need to look at the planting level. But before we go there, the other thing that you need to look at for your root system at the nursery level is how deep the tree is planted into those containers, and that has to do with root collars. The root collar of a tree is the portion of the trunk. At the base of the trunk, it starts flaring outward like this, and there you have your first roots starting up this way. The root collar tissues need to be above ground to be healthy. If those tissues are kept underground for a certain period of time, your roots will start suffocating, creating all sorts of problems. Not necessarily an uprooting problem, but it will weaken your roots to a point where uprooting may be more of an issue. So girdling roots and root collar issues need to be addressed at the nursery level. When your tree is planted, you have to look at girdling roots. You can fix the situation. You can correct your roots when the tree is planted, so that they give you that anchor long term. You can also make sure that your tree is not planted too deep. This one was planted too deep. You can see there's a little bit of a line here where you can tell how high the dirt was beforehand. So either it was planted too deep, or within, as the landscape was put together, the rocks, the granite, the dirt, the debris were all pushed against the trunk, and all of a sudden your root collar, which is here, is 8 inches below grade. So you have to keep that root collar nice and open. As far as root health is concerned, you also have to take care of them after your tree is planted. And you do that by, number one, watering properly. Your root system extends away from your trunk all the way to what we call the drip line of a tree, which is the imaginary line between the end of the canopy and the ground. So here we have a jacaranda, and just to show you the drip line is the point at which your canopy ends, and you have this imaginary line that goes straight down to that point. Your root system will grow all the way to the drip line all around your tree, and in most cases beyond that line. So it's very important to have this entire area irrigated on a regular basis. You can do that by just adding emitters, or if you have shrubs like this all around your tree, that might provide the same watering system that you need. In this case, you have those two emitters which were installed when the tree was planted about a year ago from a 24-inch box, and they're installed right next to each other, which serves no purpose really. You need to spread them out at least from one side of the tree to the other. And as your tree grows, you absolutely have to move your emitters farther out so that your whole root system gets watered properly. So you can leave those there if you want, but you have, or you can spread those outward a little bit more, or you have to add additional emitters around so you water a wider surface. This will encourage your roots to grow outward and provide the anchor that you need for your tree to stay upright. You don't need to water deeply. The roots here in Arizona don't grow very deep because of all the caliche we have in the soil. So you want to encourage your roots to grow wide so you have that anchor. So don't think deep watering, think wide watering when you do. In addition to watering properly, you need to trim your trees properly as well. Desert trees in particular, like this one, tend to grow a canopy that grows faster than the tree's root system. Therefore, as soon as there's enough wind, the wind will blow this thick canopy down, and the roots, not providing enough of an anchor yet, can't prevent that from happening. So you need to allow the wind to blow through your canopy by having a professional trim it so that there's some thinning being done to allow air penetration. If you'd like more information about what I just discussed, so you can try to avoid a situation like this, please give me a call, D French Arborist, and the number is 480-320-0906. Thank you.